This video is made possible by the EA Creator Network. All right, so what we're going to look at is the new RE45. When I say the new RE45, technically this is going to be more season specific of what they've said, and I'll highlight what that looks like. So it says Elite Weapon, a custom version of a classic weapon taken from Ballistic's Private Reserve. So the interesting part about this, and you've probably seen so many changes, go check out all my buffs and nerfs video. Check that out. I promise you I cover a lot there. What's really crazy about the RE45 is that it's an energy gun. And we're going to talk about the attachments. So you got the barrel attachment, so you can attach this. For a laser sight, you can put that on there. You can choose a optic. You can't put a 3x on it, but you can put a 2x. So what I'm going to do is cover the recoil pattern so you're not lost when you're using this gun at a distance. Been using it a little bit, and so I want to make sure that you're equipped and you understand exactly what the specs are when using the new RE45. Now, maybe this is season specific, but I think the RE45, I'm going to overlay some footage. Even though I had no idea what I was doing with initially with this gun, it is nutty. It does a lot of damage. So let me show you. Ready? All right, so the gun does have about 1.5 second charge, but look at that damage. It's a burst weapon. Absolutely insane. This is without a mag, ladies and gentlemen, without a mag. That's crazy. So we're going to go through all the mag sizes, but look how much damage you could potentially do. Granted, there's some headshot damage in here. That's the max you could do. Let's do non-headshots. Accidentally did a headshot in there. So you kind of get the range, right? That's really insane, that range. Really nutty. So from around 450 all the way, looking at this, to like around 550. It was like 560 a second ago. That's pretty crazy. So let's look at the different max sizes that you have for this, because even just having the base at 18 is crazy. Reload this, get yourself 21. Reload again, get yourself 24. Put this in, you get yourself 27. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot a wall, and you're gonna understand the recoil, but from a distance, it's more or less like a snake, okay? It pulls initially to the left, then right, then left, then right. It's very consistent when you do this, okay? So I wanna show you case that on the wall. And when you have that, it really is a lot easier. At first, I didn't really know what it was doing because it's not like a classic RE45. You know, the RE45 just pulls to the left. So let's go shoot a wall, and I'm gonna show you pretty much across the board that pattern. Now, again, when you shoot this at a distance, okay? You see how it pulls a little to the left, then the right, then the left, and the right? It just looks like a giant snake. So when you come up here, ready? So you pull down, and then a little bit to the left, then the right, left, and then right. So you counteract that by going, you pull down to the right a little bit, then you pull down to the left, then right, then left, right? So that's pretty much what you're looking at in terms of the recoil. Always opposite. It's the same almost every single time for the most part. It's initially going to pull towards left, down and the left, ready? Every single time. Just imagine that. Down and left is where it's pulling, so you counteract that by pulling down and then to the right. Down and to the right. Down and to the right. Getting that little bump right there at the start can kind of throw you off just a little bit. When you think about it, again, you keep that pretty steady. There's a little bit of a hiccup. This one kind of trips you up around this spot right here, because that's whenever it really starts picking up, right? Yep, it throws me off every single time. And it's just not the standard RE45 that you're dealing with. Again, energy, so when you think about drop off, it's kind of non-existent, right? My recommendation is that if you were just sitting in the back over here, right? Go all the way over to the spot or add some distance into this and then get used to the fact that it's an energy gun now, especially if you're used to the RE45. Just pretend the old RE45 just does not exist, right? And that recoil really kicks from a distance here. If you dial it in, it gets a little better, right? Obviously, I need some work with it too. But I always try to think of it like that snake pattern, right? Those jumps just feel really awkward in between. When you look at the snake pattern, every single time it jumps, as long as you pull down, then you're going to be in a better spot. Now, just as a reminder, this does do about 15 damage per once it's charged up. And once it's charged up, I want to point out that you can kind of keep it charged and feather it. I don't really see the use of that. So pretty much what I've been doing is just practicing over and over again at a distance. The only downside is that this thing kicks like a mule. It is brutal how much that it kicks. So essentially the way I'm pulling is pull right, left, and then, yeah, it's just a mess. So let's give it a little bit of time. I'm going to come back after, because I mean, I'm still getting used to this. We'll come back and let you know what started clicking for me. All right, so we're a little more consistent now. It really is that ping-ponging back and forth when it goes to the left, right, but getting ready for each of those bursts because they're always the same. And then because it is a energy gun, you just need to be ready for that constant kick and knowing that you need to be dead on the target. A little hard to talk while doing it, so I'll shut up for a second and then work on this again. So I kept getting pretty much 40% and the 51%. This thing kicks like a mule. It is really difficult. I think I spent about 30 straight minutes just shooting it. The biggest thing is that when it kicks, well, it has a consistent pattern. And let's go ahead and zoom in on this specifically. Just this pattern alone. And what I'm going to do is highlight is that every few shots that it takes when it goes up and then it keeps bursting, that movement isn't as fluid as you think it is. Now, while you can feather it, and you can, right now we're just kind of holding. Those 3 shots, every time they pick up at a different spot, and it gets a little hairy there. So if you want to feather it, see if you do that, I think it's harder to feather in my opinion. Well, it can create this Marv effect. I think it's easier to hold down just to control like this to create a smooth pattern rather than just feathering. Because you could feather, there is that. I guess it depends on your personal preference, to be realistic. I don't really, whenever I'm thinking like aim training scenarios, this is such a weird, jarring movement because it's just pull. You're kind of just pulling consistently, left, right, over and over again to kind of get just a smooth pattern. And that can, I mean, honestly, 50% of the damage, even at a distance, is pretty gnarly. It's going to chew through your ammo, of course. But you're kind of just pulling and pulling. And what helps you is every time you hear the audio, if you listen, click. It could be indicator to go other side, you know, pull. So if you don't know, and this is the big secret I always tell everybody, if you don't realize, and this goes with even the flat line, is that there's audio cues whenever you're shooting that can be very helpful. So if you think of like the flat line, you can kind of hear it with every single gun whenever you shoot, because the flat line is meant to be a heartbeat. See here it pulses and goes boop, but then you hear it switch. And at the very end, it also tells you, but you can hear the switch that goes back and forth, and you can hear it also in the RE45 to know where it's pulling left, right, and so forth. So if you listen, you can almost hear the rumbling. It's the only example I can give. It's so important to hear that in the cadence. Let's go again. And then, of course, the ending that kind of gives it away. And hopefully that helps somebody out there. Just another audio cue to kind of listen to. Kind of gives you an indicator where you are in your spray. But that's why I don't recommend feathering it. Feathering it can also help whenever you're trying to shoot. But with the TTK being so fast, I just recommend just going for the full spray and just keep pulling down. With 50% accuracy at that distance, it's not bad for only 30 minutes. I would think if you spent a couple more hours rocking this, again, it's going to change over the course of the season. Maybe there'll be a new weapon. I think it's an elegant solution of kind of releasing new guns. So comment, what do you think about the fact that they're interchanging it? What were these tips helpful? And let me know. If not, I'll try to do better in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the next video.